Ninja Gaiden 4. It dropped yesterday. We definitely gonna have some content up. Be on the lookout for that. But we gonna check out this review in the meantime, between time, you know. This is the bread and butter. We do the reactions. That's the bread and butter. You get the steak when we do the other kinds of videos.
In so many ways,
You know what
Ninja
Gunner
Gaiden
said. It's all
4
about that
is
bread and butter.
exactly what I wanted it to be. It's a collaborative effort between Team Ninja and Platinum Games, two of my all-time favorite developers. It builds off the combat from Ninja Gaiden 2, which has the best action of the series in my eyes, and it comes packed with small touches that make it a bit more approachable without sacrificing the toughest nails difficulty that longtime fans like me expect. But while I'd even go so far to say that this combat system is among the very best I've ever seen, Ninja Gaiden 4 stumbles in many other areas. From its bland new lead character, to its uninspired level design, to its predictable story that falls completely flat.
He about to shit on this game. Now, I fired a pause so quick, but I for reference, I watched Fighting Cowboys review, and I forgot the other creator's name. No, Fighting Cowboys review. Some other creator, I forget bro name, sorry. And Gamer Ranks, Before You Buy, they all recommended it. But it looks like IG is about to shit on this game heavily.
The action is still so good that a lot of these shortcomings get deflected like bullets against Ryu Hayabusa's sword, but others slip through that defense and wound what is otherwise an incredible revival for the Master Ninja.
Okay. He's going to be hard in this game. So I'm smelling a 6 or a 7. Let's see what he talk about. Michael Saltzman. He's usually pretty even kill on the reviews. Some people say he's more of a shill. But yeah, all right. Let me stop
Story
pausing.
has never been a selling point of the Ninja Gaiden series, so it didn't come as a surprise to me that Ninja Gaiden 4's plot was one of the weakest elements. It introduces us to our new protagonist, Yakumo, a skilled ninja of the Raven Clan, whose initial goal to kill a priestess of the Dark Dragon instead quickly turns into a mission to escort her to a handful of magic seals in an effort to really, for realsies, kill the Dark Dragon for good this time. What follows is an extremely predictable 10-hour campaign with attempts at big emotional moments that fall flat because the legwork to make you care about these characters is never done. There is some
We don't play Ninja Gaiden for the plot, though. You know that.
And the other members of his little Raven Clan squad, but it's never charming or endearing, and certainly never develops to a point where I ever got a real sense that these characters were actually close.
Watch your back.
We don't play Ninja Gaiden for the plot, though. You know this. Michael Saltzman, come on, bro. It's for the gameplay.
Yakumo primarily communicates with grunts,
silent protagonist.
mission objectives,
Made it to the gate.
Oh, he does talk.
Target area is close by.
He just barely
and
talks.
angry threats,
Stay out of my way.
and as a result just comes off as a lame edgelord most of the time.
Bring it on. Bring it.
Emo child.
Dance.
Emo child.
You do get to play a couple of chapters as Ryu towards the end, and while these are a welcome reprieve, they also feel like a huge missed opportunity.
They're doing some
His
classic
levels have
enemies,
him
too.
retracing Yakumo's steps, fighting through the same environments, mostly the same enemies, and the same bosses, but this time with fewer combat options, since Ryu only has access to one weapon, a far less interesting Gleam form to replace Yakumo's Bloodraven form, and just 4 returning Ninpo super attacks. Imagine Dante's missions from Devil May Cry 4, except he doesn't get any new weapons, his playstyle is almost exactly the same as Nero, and there's none of that cool Dante trash talk.
I'll be mad as hell.
I am willing to forgive an action game for a lot if the action itself is good. Unfortunately, Ninja Gaiden 4's combat isn't just good, it's phenomenal. It's incredibly fast, the enemies are intelligent and won't let you do the same thing over and over again, there's a great deal of flexibility that allows you to change up your approach to each fight, it looks slick as hell, and it has that trademark Team Ninja fluidity mixed in with the over-the-top craziness that Platinum Games is renowned for. It just checks every single box. The secret sauce here is enemy aggression. Enemies are absolutely ruthless in Ninja Gaiden 4. They don't politely wait for their turn as they attack you from off screen, hit you with unblockables, grab you if you try to turtle up, armor through your regular attacks, and overwhelm you with sheer numbers. It's a style of combat that is totally unique to this series, and that suffocating pressure from enemies is what makes every combat encounter such a thrilling fight for survival. All of that may sound brutal, but Yakumo's own toolset is extremely powerful as well. You have the iconic flying swallow technique that allows you to zip towards an enemy, potentially slicing off their head in just a single hit. The Izuna drop air combo that ends in a flying pile driver that will instantly kill most enemies in a single blow. The plethora of powerful unlockable attacks for each weapon. And most importantly, ultimate techniques that allow you to absorb essence from defeated enemies to charge up a flashy combo that is completely invulnerable, can hit multiple enemies, and does extremely high damage. None of this is new to Ninja Gaiden 4, and in fact is just a basic overview of what's always been great about the combat in this series. But it's important to talk about because my biggest concern coming into Ninja Gaiden 4 was that it would feel less like Ninja Gaiden and more like a Platinum Games game. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just not what I'd want out of a return I've been waiting 13 years for. Fortunately, that's not the case. This is a Ninja Gaiden game through and through, with a light touch of Platinum flavor to enhance it even further.
Yakumo got his own swag though. I like it with the Blood Raven
mostly comes in the
moves.
form of one big addition to the combat system, Yakumo's Blood Raven form.
Yeah.
By holding down the left trigger, Yakumo will transform his weapon into a slower, more extravagant version with a completely new set of moves and the ability to break an enemy's guard or interrupt their super attacks. These attacks are sick as hell, and definitely bring to mind some of Bayonetta's Wicked Weave heavy attacks, especially the rapier that turns into a huge drill, or the staff that turns into a giant hammer. But more than just being cool to look at, they add a new dimension to combat that forces you to be reactive to how the enemies are dealing with your offense. If you go into autopilot and just spam light attacks, enemies will block your strike and deliver a damaging counter of their own. But if you notice that they're flashing white and shrugging off your attacks, you can hit them with a Blood Raven form attack to not only deal big damage, but also open them up for even more punishment after breaking their guard. Blood Raven form moves are tied to a meter that drains pretty quickly, adding an extra layer of resource management that I enjoyed. These blood-infused attacks are also generally pretty slow, which makes them a bit risky to try to interrupt a faster armored attack. So you need to decide whether to risk wasting your meter by preemptively using a blood attack to try and catch an armored move during its initial animation, whether to risk your health by trying to wait to react to one of their slower and more telegraphed armored moves, or whether to use the meter defensively instead and try to perfectly block otherwise unblockable attacks. Whatever the case, having multiple different options to deal with a challenging combat encounter is crucial in a game like this, and Ninja Gaiden 4 is stacked with options to play around with. One departure from
I know I say it often if you watch a lot of my reviews, but I love a game that gives you all the tools you need to beat it, and it doesn't limit you on to how you can use those tools to dispatch your enemies. Like, that's the best thing. Like, I hate when I'm playing a game and I'm forced to use a certain strategy or only this strategy or that strategy, like only two strategies work. Like, you could play the game how you want to play. Just give me the tools and let me go to work.
From previous games is that instead of individually upgrading your weapons and having each improvement come with new moves and increased power, this time around you must buy all of your upgrades a la carte. Universal upgrades that affect every weapon cost Ninja Coin, which is a currency gained primarily from completing side missions, optional purgatory challenges, and as a reward for just completing a chapter. Weapon-specific techniques, on the other hand, must be purchased with Weapon EXP, which is gained simply by fighting enemies. The better you perform, the more Weapon EXP you get. It's a great change, and I enjoyed always having something new to unlock the whole way through, even though I do think that Ninja Gaiden 4 is a little stingy with your starting set of upgrades. From the beginning of the game, you're not even able to absorb essence to instantly charge your ultimate technique.
Oh, come on.
Charge it after landing from a jump, or even charge it up to level 2. All of those techniques have to be purchased.
You gotta unlock
along with
that?
staples like the aforementioned Flying Swallow and Izuna Drop. And that same currency is also used to purchase consumable items, leading to a brutal economy in the early going, especially if you didn't purchase the more expensive Deluxe Edition, which gifts players with a whopping 50,000 Ninja Coins right from the start.
Oh yeah, we gonna have to cop that.
Buy virtually
I got the
every
Game Pass, but
starting
we gonna have to
upgrade
cop that.
and
We
fill
gonna
up your
upgrade.
inventory. If you only have the Standard Edition, the first couple of hours can be pretty rough as you slowly build up the arsenal of techniques that bring Ninja Gaiden 4's combat to life. The final new combat wrinkle is the addition of a Berserk meter that fills up as you deal or take damage, as well as when you defeat the limbed enemies with obliteration techniques. When the Berserk meter is full, your charged up Blood Raven form attacks will trigger Bloodbath kills, which are basically cinematic one-hit kills. It's another fun element of resource management that gave me a way to satisfyingly clear a whole screen of tough enemies in just a few seconds, if I managed to survive long enough to be able to build up the meter. Platinum also injects a healthy dose of style and creative expression into the combat by giving Yakumo the ability to hot swap between his weapons with just the
Ooh, so you could, oh
like
man, I love that Platinum does that, because you can do that in Bayonetta. Bayonetta is inspired by Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry can't, like, it was one of the probably the most popular game with the style switching and switching your weapons in midair and being able to keep attacking with your weapons in midair. I'm gonna have fun with this. I'm gonna have fun. I'll probably make some combo videos.
Launch an enemy in the air with the dual swords, hit them twice, switch to another weapon, hit them twice again,
violating.
switch to a third weapon, max out that air combo, and then send them crashing down with an Izuna drop. We're not talking Devil May Cry levels of potential for combo creativity, but there's still a lot of fancy stuff you can do between the many techniques that you unlock for each weapon, and there's even a training mode so you can practice optimizing your damage and stylish combos. Variety like this goes a long way for me in terms of making combat feel fresh and exciting throughout the entire campaign.
Hold that. That was fire. Blade effect, blade bullets.
I did my first playthrough of Ninja Gaiden 4 on hard, and while that was the sweet spot for me in terms of difficulty, it's worth noting that you can change the setting at any point, except in Master Ninja mode, which is a great feature for anyone struggling with its demanding challenges. Hero mode has been added as well, which allows you to enable auto block and auto dodge, along with an auto assist that allows you to do damaging combos with just single button presses. It's not for me, but I appreciate its inclusion nonetheless as a way to let more people enjoy the spectacle and action of the Ninja Gaiden series.
Yeah, and I think that, I'm sorry to keep pausing so much, but I feel like that's something that people got to get over. Like, the hardcore gamers, like, you got to remember, these businesses that are creating video games, they are businesses, they are companies. So what's the best thing you can do for a business is to expand and grow your customer base. So if you can do that while still maintaining your normal customer base, why not do that? So adding something like an easier mode to a game that's traditionally known to be a little bit harder, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you're a hardcore gamer, you could just pick the hardcore mode like that's always been there. All it's doing is bringing more people into the genre. I know it's a little bit different with fighting games. People kind of like, oh, the noobs are coming in, but like, you should want to teach those people, because you were new at once, you sucked at once. So why are you trying to come at new people trying to get into a really cool game? Like, I feel like that's when gatekeeping can be toxic. I'm not gonna lie.
Action is pristine, and the combat arenas themselves have some great interactable elements that give you the freedom to zip around from point to point, cutting up enemies along the way. The actual level design is pretty uninspired. There are occasional splashes of interesting architecture across its futuristic version of Tokyo that's been twisted by the evil power of the Dark Dragon's husk, but far more often, you'll just be wandering around very bland rooftops, identical looking corridors, and boring city streets. It doesn't get much better once you're out of Tokyo either. You just trade those drab streets for foggy cliffsides, ugly sewers, and samey looking military bases. There are a couple of fun travel sequences that break up all the limb-liberating sword slashing, like Sonic-esque rail grinding sections, bits where you have to glide on wind currents to soar over a mountain range, and some sewer surfing. But these three interstitials are repeated throughout the entire campaign with little to no variation or evolution. As a result, they end up feeling more like filler than anything else. There's a new side quest system that allows you to gain some extra currency by completing optional tasks, like finding and defeating secret mini-bosses, capturing hidden collectible monsters called Gordies, or just simply defeating a certain number of enemies in a specific area. It's a nice addition that gives some extra incentive to be thorough and not just run past optional fights, even though the drab and exceptionally linear level design doesn't make it very exciting to actually explore. My favorite thing to find hidden in a level, though, are purgatory gates. These are optional challenge rooms with the cool twist of letting you decide how much health you want to attempt them with. The greater the health handicap, the greater the reward. These fights are by far the most intense and most fun challenges available, and I loved pushing myself to try to get through the hardest difficulty and then being handsomely rewarded for the effort. Bosses have never been a strong suit for the Ninja Gaiden series, but, funny enough, have always been a strength of Platinum Games. The mixture of the two seems to have gone about how you would expect, as the bosses in Ninja Gaiden 4 vary wildly in quality. There are a couple of truly great scraps against tough enemies with adrenaline-pumping soundtracks that brought to mind some of Metal Gear Rising's best fights.
Okay. And I love that game. Metal Gear Rising was fire. Go play that if you haven't. The music go crazy too.
Are just underwhelming battles against giant monsters with too much health and some frustrating gimmicks. From bosses that obnoxiously teleport around a large arena whenever you get close, to giant fiends that spawn annoying fodder enemies to distract you from their own extremely dangerous attacks. After beating the campaign, you unlock the Master Ninja difficulty, the ability to replay any stage, boss, or unlocked Purgatory Gate as either Yakumo or Ryu, and most substantially, 18 combat trials that feature unique modifiers, and even a few enemies that I never encountered in the main game. These combat trials might have you clearing waves of enemies without using your Bloodraven form, or cause your health to tick down continuously, or a trial might just prevent you from healing altogether. I haven't beaten all of these yet, but I am having a blast going through each one of them and look forward to challenging my friends to top my scores on the leaderboard.
Indeed. Come on, what we talking about? Michael Saltzman, what we talking about?
When it comes to combat, there are few games I'd consider to even be in the same ballpark as Ninja Gaiden 4. It is quite simply the most fun I've had with a 3D action game since Devil May Cry 5. Its disappointing story, bland level design, and uneven boss battles certainly put a damper on the package as a whole,
give it a 7.
but they haven't stopped me from continuously coming back for more all the same. Blemishes and all, this is the best pure action game since Hi-Fi Rush. And hopefully it doesn't take another 13 years for the next one.
Oh, he still gave it an 8. He talked all that shit and still gave it an 8. That's crazy.
Editor Tom Marks
That's crazy. He talked all of that shit and still gave it an 8. That's crazy. Now, I do understand that sometimes it's not always the person that's reading the review that did the review, but I think they tell you, right? They tell you, right? Like, if they reviewed it, hold on. Like, who played it? Hold on. Reviewed on PC by Michael Saltzman. Reviewed on. Okay, so he might not necessarily been the one to play it. I mean, but the way he was talking, he was one of the people that played it. But sometimes the person that played it isn't the person that's reading the review, or the person that's reading the review, that's not their exact fit. Like, it's weird how they do it. They should have the person that reviewed it and the person that played it. The person that played it also do reading and writing the review every time. That's how they should do it every time. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism, so I know how it works behind the scenes. I know that's not how it always is, but that's how it should be, and that's how it can be. I've been I've interned at places where it does work that way. But yeah, let's let me do my little 1-2 real quick. Hold on. Ninja Gaiden 4. So I can give it an 8 out of 10. The reviews have been coming in. They've been looking pretty solid. I can't wait to play this. I'm definitely looking for something on the channel. Like, Ninja Gaiden is one of my favorite game series. I like Yakumo. I like this new guy. He got his own swag to him with the attacks. He's a little bit of an emo child. He doesn't talk too much, but I like his swag. I like his the Bloodraven moves and things of that nature. And you do get to play Ryu at the later stages of the game. And after you beat the game, you get to use Ryu for any chapter that you want. I didn't like the fact that you don't get to absorb essence and use your obliteration techniques right away. You have to unlock that. That's something that you automatically had in the beginning, and you got to unlock the flying swallow and the Zuna drop. I don't like that, but I mean, so it's going to make the beginning game a kind of a slog. But I mean, overall, if you know Ninja Gaiden, that wouldn't be much of a hindrance for you. But yeah, so y'all let me know how y'all feel down in the comments. All right, so you already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.